Hi everybody, my name is Steve Kozeniewski and I am an author. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Cause and Effect, my new instructional and informative series. This week we're going to be talking about metrics. And I want you to think of this as if you have a spouse or a friend or a loved one, assuming you're an author, and they don't understand all of the numbers that you're constantly babbling at them, I want you to be able to sit them down and have them watch this video, and hopefully they'll pick up a few things. Or if you're like a brand new wet behind the ears author, you don't know anything about anything, we can sit down here and tell you where exactly you're fitting into this race. So I mentioned it's a race. You can treat that as a pretty good metaphor here. Imagine that you're in a race every day and you know exactly where you stand at all times because of all this different data that's available for us out there on the internet. And it's enough to make you rip your hair out sometimes, and sometimes it's good for an ego boost, and sometimes it just dashes you to pieces. And sometimes it's good to just not worry about it. But I think it's important that everybody knows exactly where all our data is coming from. So let's just jump right in here. And what we're looking at here, this is my author dashboard on Amazon. Now, everything that I'm going to talk about Amazon is primarily because this is the biggest bookseller here. Hopefully you can take this basic information and carry it down, and if your book is on barnesandnoble.com or Kobo or iTunes or whatever, this same basic information will hopefully apply. It's not going to have the same exact functionality, but you're going to see some of these things over and over again in the different booksellers. So anyway, this is my dashboard on Amazon, and this is pretty cool. It's got some pictures of me, my bio, connected to my Twitter, connected to my blog. Here's my books, and here's some videos, and it's a pretty cool one-stop shop site, which is, of course, Amazon's goal in life is to be the one-stop shop. So no surprise here that its author dashboards are the same way. So the first metric I want to point out here, this is kind of a silly one and a small one here, but here's the likes that my actual author page have gotten. So I have 8 likes. That's really cool. I'm really glad 8 people have sought me out and clicked on this little button here and said that they like me enough to take the time to click that button there. This is not very well known. I'll pull up Stephen King here, one of the most popular authors in the world. You see he only has 771. Oh, I guess I forgot to like him. Here, I'll like him. Here, there you go, Mr. King. You've got 772 now. So like I said, he's easily one of the top authors in the world, and he doesn't even have enough of that weird, cat on Facebook. And that's basically what this is. This is similar to your Facebook likes, your Twitter followers, and so on and so forth, but it's not very well followed. So that's a metric. It's kind of a small one there. Most of the metrics are going to be on your individual books. So I'm just going to pick out one of my books here, and the one I'm going to pick is my second novel, The Ghoul Archipelago. So let's pull up that page. Now what we're looking at here is the page for this book. We have multiple editions, so we have a Kindle edition, we have a paperback edition, and potentially you could have more. So let me pull up one of Mr. King's books here, Mr. Mercedes, and here you see he's got hardcover, paperback, MP3, Audible. He has a couple more editions than I do. Now, what I say here is that every metric that I'm going to show you here, except for the customer reviews, they're different between editions. So the paperback's going to have different metrics than the Kindle. However, reviews are considered universal to all editions. So that's what's going on here. So if we scroll down here, the first big metric is your Amazon bestsellers rank. So my current rank is 182, 436. Now, there's at this present moment, about 8 million books on Amazon. I'm sure that goes higher and higher every day, and who knows how many it'll be tomorrow. So my book is currently ranked 182,000, which seems pretty respectable. Again, it's no great shakes, but it's cool. Now, I mentioned before the metaphor of this being a race. So, of course, in a race, you want to be number one, and that's what this rank is. It's not your number of sales. So when your author, spouse, or friend, or whatever tells you, oh, I'm only 182,000 on Amazon, I don't want you to think to yourself, oh, 182,000 sales, that's amazing. No, what they really want is the lower the number, the better. You want to be number one here. And it does get progressively harder. So, for instance, going from 8 million to, say, 1 million, you might only need one sale. But then to go down to 100,000, you might need 3 or 4. And then once you get up into territory like here's Mr. Mercedes, which is number 38. And I, without knowing anything, I've never seen Mr. King's, royalty checks or anything like that. But I guarantee you he's sold thousands and thousands of copies of this book. So you see how much progressively harder it is to get to 38. So that's what that number means. Now, I pulled this up because I wanted to show you that he is also going to have a rank in each of the subgenres here. So what's going on with that is, if we go back to my book real quick, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I fall under 3 subgenres here. So I fall under sea adventures for books, post-apocalyptic for books, post-apocalyptic for Kindle. If I had more sales, I would probably hit the bestseller list for each of those. So that's why I pulled up Mr. King as an example here. Obviously, he is falling in as number 1 under each of his subgenres here. So number 38 on Amazon in the world translates to number 1 in the horror category. So that's the author. Okay, I have this a little bit out of order. So you see here's Amazon bestsellers under horror. Number 1 is Mr. Mercedes. And if we went into just books, we would scroll through to number 38 and see him there for books overall. So this is another one of your metrics, is whether your author friend is under a bestseller list. Now, if we go back to my book here and click on the customer reviews. Now, I've got 17 customer reviews, and this is pretty cool. Really grateful that 17 people have taken the time to review my book, and that's really cool, and that's really neat. This is no great shakes, but there are also definitely people that languish at only having 1 or 2 reviews. Reviews, I'm not going to get into it. This is the episode about metrics, so I'm not going to talk about reviews this time. But reviews are really important to driving sales. It makes you look good. It makes you look legit. Not to mention, Amazon treats you as legit and tells people about your book. It'll recommend your book if you're a guy that has 1,000 sales. For instance, Mr. Mercedes, which has almost 1,500 customer reviews all over the spectrum here. And most of them very, very good, of course. So that's another metric that your author friend may be interested in, is the number of reviews that he or she has. One metric that I don't even pop up on here because, I'm kind of getting started, I'm new, is the author ranking. So if we go over here to Stephen King again, he has an author rank. So he's the number 7 overall person in the world selling books. And then again, he has subgenres, and of course, number 1 in horror, and number 2 and 4 in literature, and so on and so forth. So what we've got here is your Amazon author rank. So here we see Veronica Roth is today the most popular author in the world on Amazon. And we scroll down here, there's George R. R. Martin, all these good folks. And here's Stephen King at number 7. So if you are especially popular, you'll pop up on the overall author bestseller list. So that's another metric you can, potentially pop up on. So that's Amazon, and like I said, you can carry some of that over into Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iTunes, Google Play, all that good stuff, if your book is listed there as well. The next set of metrics I want to talk about is on Goodreads. Now, again, there are other sites that do what Goodreads do, which is a book recommendation site. There's also Booklike, Shelfari. There's a number of sites, but I'm just going to focus on the metrics, and hopefully you can carry this as knowledge. And if you prefer to look at those sites, you can go off of the metrics based on what I tell you here today. So again, here's my dashboard, and this is a similar setup here. Goodreads is actually owned by Amazon, so no big surprise there. What's interesting about this is that I can't really on Amazon see what my overall rating is, but here it collates all the ratings from all of my books. So it tells me I have 61 ratings total for an average of 4.2 across all my books. And I have 745 friends. One of the unique metrics of Goodreads is that you'll also have fans. So 23 people, whether they're my friends or not, have decided to say that they're a fan of me. So you can be a fan of people on Goodreads even if you're not a friend. So some of those people are strangers to me. The rest of this is about me as a reviewer, so that's not really necessarily pertinent. But let's come down here to the Ghoul Archipelago, again, which I've been using as an example. Now, here we have 13 ratings for 4.23 average. So again, that fed into here, into the 61 overall, 4.2 average overall. But I also have 9 text reviews. So what does that mean? Well, the difference here is on Amazon, on my reviews, I have to write some text. I can't just give it stars, okay? It will prompt you have to write at least 20 words to get a review on Amazon. On Goodreads, some folks leave reviews with text. Some folks can just leave star reviews. So they're just saying, oh, great, 5 stars, looks good, but I don't really have anything to say about the matter. So that's why here you have a discrepancy between your text reviews and your ratings. I also have here my to read. So this is another element that's unique to Goodreads, and here you see I have 288 people who have said they want to read the Ghoul Archipelago, one who is currently doing so. So what that looks like, if you scroll down here, these are all of my friends up here. So if you were coming into my book as a stranger, you don't know me, this would look a little bit different to you. But this top part up here is my friends who've marked it as to read and who've rated it and so on and so forth. And then down here is strangers, community reviews. So here we have a text review. Here we have just a rating. Here we have, hi Lacey, thanks for currently reading my book. And then here we have everybody else who marked it as to read. And basically they put that on their shelf and they said, oh yeah, I'll get to that sometime. That's on my pile there. So that's the various metrics of Goodreads. So hopefully, and like I said, you can probably carry this information over to Booklike, Shelfari, any of those other cool sites. I just focused on 2 of the bigger sites tonight, and hopefully this is some information that will make you understand a little bit more about what your author spouse or friend is talking about. And if you're a brand new author, hopefully it's been a little bit illuminating. And if you were just a general buyer, book lover, hopefully you had something to enjoy too. So thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you next time.